Alright, I'm Flux Pavilion and I can't wait to see you at Camp Bisco in July. Well, live for me was kind of just like house parties essentially. I was into dubstep and writing it, and used to just go down to the record store, buy some records, and there'd be when I was a student, there'd be like, you'd hear about a party going on in one of the blocks. I'd always go down with my records sort of every couple of weeks and sort of play parties. And then as I was writing more, I started taking my laptop down so I could, I had the weirdest setup ever, but yeah, kind of like mix my own tracks in, which is kind of, but I used to use, like, it wasn't Tractor or anything. I used to kind of play it and use the quick time speed up and slow down function to get it in time. And then, yeah, mix my tracks in. And then that became, and then I was happy to be like, yeah, I'm kind of a DJ now, I suppose. And then people were emailing me saying, can you come play at this show, can you play at this show? So then that's how I started kind of performing live, just as a DJ. But yeah, all the first shows, I remember the first one I ever did, I had to pay £50 to get there. And there was me, no one in the room, it was me and my MC at the time. The bar staff left the room and he went for a cigarette. So I was literally in this room on my own, and then all the speakers cut out, but my monitors didn't. So I'm there playing in the corner of a room, a completely empty room, 100%, with no speakers, just some monitors. So I was literally just like practicing at home. So I paid money to do that. So the first like 6 months of my career was pretty much like that. But I mean, whose isn't really? Yeah, well, yeah, the Jay-Z Kanye West thing, they were over in the UK and listening to Radio 1, and Mr. Jam is a friend of mine, he's kind of has sort of been supporting my stuff like since the early days. He played I Can't Stop and they were listening to him and they heard it, and I think like that night they got their managers to ring up my managers and start putting it in motion, pretty much, which is pretty damn cool. So I think they just liked it. I don't know, I suppose that's one of the things, like as a singer, like sometimes I can hear things and be like, oh, I've got an idea for this. So it's pretty much the same as a rapper, like just hear a beat, if you get that groove. And I suppose they got the groove and just had some ideas, which is really cool. Like, obviously I just have so much respect for them as artists, and that they heard something out of my music just was a massive big thumbs up to me, and kind of like made me feel really happy to keep writing more. For Major Lazer, the Diplo hit me up a few times, just kind of asking me for tunes, really, like just tunes to play in his sets. And then we ended up hooking up, just at a few festivals, talking about music. And then he said he had this idea. He had that vocal for a record, and just asked if I wanted to do something on it. And then yeah, the rest was just all over email. He'd send me stuff. He came around to my house once, but it was when I was living in a student house in this place called Hatfield in the UK, which I don't know how best to explain Hatfield, but if you get a text from Diplo saying I'm at the Hatfield Leisure Centre, it's quite a hilarious thing to imagine him. Literally that day I'd seen him on the BlackBerry advert, and I was like, oh, he's coming around to my house. And he's like, I'm at Hatfield Leisure Centre, which is not a place where I'd even go. And the thought of him being there was quite funny. But yeah, that was just, yeah, when I was a student, just kind of working out of a small pit. I went to uni to study so that I could have the option to teach music. I studied music because you need to have a degree to teach, pretty much. So that was my backup plan, was just to kind of live, do whatever I could, pretty much. But yeah, since I was 12, 13, I kind of gave up on school. I was like, gave up on maths. I was like, you know what, I'm having so much more fun sort of playing guitar. I'm gonna try and make this work. So then I went on to college and university to study music. I think the best show venue always has to be Red Rocks. It's just a kind of an amazingly historical venue for over here. Then also just the setting of it, and I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a really kind of, it is a spiritual place. I never really kind of believed that much in spirituality, but the more time I spend on the road and the more kind of strange experiences I have, the more I start to believe in kind of, I don't know, feeling connected. You know, like it's the same with music, where you just feel connected to the music and like energy and stuff like that. And Red Rocks really felt like that energy was tangible. Like I could go out there and just feel the excitement in the air, which was really cool. I've seen so much about the Daft Punk album, but it never really hit for me like their stuff when I was a kid. It was always Fatboy Slim, Prodigy, Basement Jaxx. Then I got into drum and bass. I never made it over to Daft Punk. So yeah, so I'm excited to hear it. I was more excited about the Justice album like myself. Like I'm more of a Justice guy.